Oh no, that's through the
What was that?
Hangouts.
That's Hangouts. Okay. Right now.
Oh no, that's through the
What was that?
Hangouts.
That's a little immediate for.
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Right now. I gotta mute mine. So through Twitch, yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. Somebody with some superhuman. Yeah. All right. Where do you wanna go? It's such one of those annoying days that when I finally get on the mic, I just want to sing.
That's why today was actually a decent day for me.
Oh, good.
Of course, I did very little actual work.
Well, here we are then.
Actually, my whole week has been very little actual work because mostly it's just resetting people's emails because Ari basically said he wants to, in his words, nuke the entire computer lab, which means he wants to like totally just rewipe the hard drives and do everything. Like, there's no reason for me to run updates right now, so I'm just like chilling.
Your brother's there. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Steve?
Long time no see, Barosif.
I know. What you been up to?
Bueller.
I'm fighting Galactus right now.
Yep, because that's what I wanted to be doing.
Well, you haven't started shit, dude. Wow.
I'm going to try to contain my anger before we get going here. Been singing a lot. Nothing?
Yeah, you have.
All right. Let me get this other stuff going here. I'm going to open this up so that I have it ready. I can double check the date. Yeah, I thought that's tomorrow. By the time they hear this, it'll be off, but that's no big deal. No big deal, no big deal. Well, sadly, I didn't get to see the Dark Tower before I left my little town. So I didn't even get to see Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Dark Tower either because I just got my first paycheck, yo, and it was under $100.
Oh, I should have checked my account to see if I got some money.
And that
Anyway.
would have to gas.
Yeah, I have not seen movies recently.
I have decided, though, I am going to go in this weekend and try to finally get my press pass.
For what?
To go see movies for free.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, I did not get a check. And why is there no money in my account? Oh. Well, let's realize why there's no money in my account. Apparently, it's time my SWOTOR sub just went through my account. I was like, why is there no money? Okay, here we are. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I would have loved to see the Dark Tower. More than anything, really. But it was here for like maybe a week. And I was out of town for part of it. Sucks.
You suck. No, not really.
Yeah, one of us
I missed
does.
you this summer.
Well, one of us does. All right, let's...
You weren't supposed to tell anyone.
Well. Hello, patrons. That's the pre-show blooper. All right, so let's get rolling here and just get started. I don't even care anymore. Just roll.
Rolling, what? Rolling, what?
All right. What did you type in there? Weed Mac? Oh, that's what I forgot. That's what that was called. Okay. Should I send another tweet out that we're live or just be done?
I said just be done. Because everybody who watches this live has Twitch notifications.
Your Twitch notification.
I'm going to smack you down like the little boy you are.
Yeah, I was interested in my own comments, to be honest with you, Steve. But I didn't get to see the movie I was really looking forward to for
I know,
months and months and
he's
months
been
and
looking
months.
forward to that for like 2 years.
Yeah, and missed it. It's easy to miss a movie here.
It is easy to miss a movie here.
Well, 4 screens and they replaced with something dumb. I think the Emoji Movie or something came
Yeah,
out.
and how long did freaking Boss Baby play here? Like 6 weeks.
Dumb. Anyway, shall we?
We shall. Twitchifications. I like that, Steve.
Yeah. It's cool. I got it. Don't you look at me like that.
So one of us has got to, hold up, beating Galactus for our team.
If you don't put that phone down, I swear to God. It's wildly inappropriate. Okay.
Blast came from the Death Star. That thing's operational.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
Oh, don't worry, I got it. Hello and welcome to episode 109 of The Usual Podcast. Podcast where we discuss Star Wars The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall. And with me, dropping the ball on the mixer, is my buddy Will. What's up, buddy?
I have one job when we're live.
Literally. No, seriously.
Literally.
One job. Anyway, so we're just sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages. What you drinking, buddy?
Thanks to our buddy John Skeen in the Sun King Brewery Company, I am drinking the Weemac, the Scotch Ale.
Is it good?
It is good. I've had it before. I want to say probably about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It reminds me a lot of the Newcastle Caledonian Ale, which is another Scotch ale, but actually this one's a little bit smoother.
Nice.
Not as bitter.
Awesome, dude. I'm drinking one of my favorite, most bitter brews, Tricera hops from Ninkasi Brewing Company. I love the label on this. So I'll hold it up for the people watching. But this is one of my current favorite brewing companies, and this is a beast. It is hoppy. The IBUs are at 84 bitterness level. So, if you hear random burps and stuff in the background, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be delicious. So here we go. Anything else before we get going, dude? Welcome to the chat room.
Yes, thank you. Welcome to the chat room.
We usually don't say it this early, but hi, Shaggy's, Steve. What's up, guys?
It's good to see Steve for the first time in a while.
Yeah, here we are. So before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter. Will is at I'm Will Griggs. And we're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play. If you see us, like us, share us, and tell your friends. That's good, right? Tell your friends.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, good.
Word of mouth is key.
Oh, tell somebody. Why not? We do have the timestamps in the show notes if you're not a SWTOR fan. We do have some SWTOR news, which is pretty cool.
Yes, it is.
New patch this week, so we'll be talking a little bit about that. But then we got some Star Wars, and we got a lot of actually good news for this week.
It's a weird, and it's not like earth-shattering news, but it's just like weird news week.
Well, it's intriguing enough to make a show out of.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do that, which is great. All right. So again, thanks again to the chat room. We'll do our best to keep an eye on chat as we go. So if you want to chime in, please do that. And we're going to get right into Star Wars The Old Republic. So if you don't play the game, that is okay. We won't be here too long, but stay with us if you're live and watching us. It's a Star Wars fest. Indeed, Shaggies. Indeed. Here we go.
You want to fight? I'm ready.
You do not have to stand against me. Instead, I will share all of this with you, if you will only kneel.
All right. So, at the top of the show,
Drama.
No, it's not drama yet. We'll get to the drama in a minute. What's actually really cool is we kind of piggybacked on Curling Run Radio last week and made a show out of our Star Wars section.
Yeah, we
our
did.
Star Wars The Old Republic section. This week I want to highlight them. By the time you listen to this, it'll be too late. But if you're listening live, and I've retweeted this, and this is a really cool thing, but Carillion Run Radio is actually joining up with Star Wars The Old Republic devs. To be more specific, Musco it joins JT and Mox to discuss and play the Crisis on Umbara.
Nice.
And this is tomorrow, Friday, August 25th at 4:30 p.m. CDT. They're going to broadcast live on Twitch. I just wanted to give them a shout out. I know it's after the fact if you're actually listening to this, not live, but I'm stoked for those guys. That is a really cool thing. I'm hoping I can check that out. Sadly, it is right smack in the middle of my workday, so I just don't think I can do it.
Plus, we have about 5% of their listenership, so I don't think ours is a drop in the bucket.
Look, 3% at best.
Yeah, and 95% crossover.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. So I just want to give them a shout out at the top of the show because that's what I wanted to highlight community-wise this week. But I'm going to check out the stream after the fact, and we'll kind of talk about it next week. And a lot of those guys, it's happening early enough in the day, so hopefully when we have WOG tomorrow night, they'll be able to chime in and let us know how it went.
You know, I think, honestly, if you did a Venn diagram of our listenership and the people who don't listen to Corellian Run Radio, it's just a little picture of Steve in the middle just waving.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That is accurate.
I think somebody should map that out. All right.
That should be our next T-shirt.
Yeah, it should be a T-shirt. All right, so week in game, dude. Did you do anything in game this week?
I did, actually.
Oh, you did. You didn't write anything in the show notes. That's cool.
Well, because honestly, I didn't think I logged in this week, and then because it's been a whole week of postponement of 5.4.
Right.
But I remember that last weekend, I actually logged in for a little bit, and I decided to, because if you remember a couple weeks ago, I was complaining that I haven't finished Chapter 9 of Kote yet, because I couldn't beat the Senya Vision thing.
Right.
Because, or not Senya, Valen, because my Senya and my Arkan aren't powerful enough.
Right.
So I decided I'm just going to go and totally work through a whole bunch of planetary heroics through the conquest system so I can get a whole bunch of conquest points, and I'll get a whole bunch of crates to drop companion gifts, and I'm just leveling up my companions so I can, because right now, when I was trying to go in before, I had Senya at like 18 and Arkan at 1. That's not going to win you any fights.
Nope. You're going to die a lot.
Yeah, so now I've got Arkan up to like, I want to say 10, and Senya's at like 28.
Okay.
So, it's getting better, but I'm still, and I've totally jumped like, I think I'm up to close to 40 on my, which isn't high at all. But
you don't want to know how many companions I have at 50.
I hate you. I don't have any companions at 50. My highest is a Wampa at 48.
Oh, I have a lot more than that, including my Wappa and my Pigman.
Okay, well, and also I did drop 2,100 cartel coins on
2,100.
Yeah, on the new droid companion.
Oh, nifty!
So I got him.
Nice. So you did stuff.
I did. It was actually a pretty good week for me.
Nice, dude. I did WOG, as I always do.
And I would like to say a quick...
That's fine. Just go ahead.
No, I'm going to roll over
please.
here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you a quick little shout-out, because with your WOG streaming last week, we've passed 2,000 viewers on our Twitch channel.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That means, over the course of all this time that I've had the channel, 2,000 people have popped in for 30 seconds and said, what the hell is this?
And only half of that is Mox.
A little more than that. Okay, so...
yeah, how'd WOG go?
WOG was great. We had a really good night. We had a nice crew in there. We did Tithe and the Twins again.
You were telling me you guys...
we actually wiped, though.
Oh, did you wipe this time?
Yeah, no, that was the week before. We actually had a couple issues. It was hard to say what it was, but, we wiped a couple times, but we had a really good night, and I just want to give a shout-out to everybody who shows up for WOG every week. And it's a rotating cast, but, regardless of how the night goes, we always have a good time, and people get loot, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks again to those. I mean, we're well over 2 years now of doing WOG.
I know, right?
And the people that show up every week, if you can't show up, you're there in spirit. You'll put messages in the chat and stuff like that, and it's always a lot of fun. So I just want to give some love to my WOG peeps.
And I have a quick little comment for our WOG peeps.
Yeah.
I cannot get my own private internet access.
Yeah, that's sad.
I tried doing it through Comcast, and just the way that my trailer park has it set up, it says that you can't do it individually. It's weird.
So someone in the chat, Shaggy's, is saying you didn't get your Pigman? Is that what you're saying? Okay. So I got my Pigman and you didn't?
Not only did I not get my Pigman, I still don't have last year's Rancor. And I've dropped well over 10 million credits into this damn event.
Here we are. My Pigman's epic. He looks amazing.
Does he snort
the
entire time?
He's so good, dude. He's like my favorite person in the world.
Actually, you know who my favorite
and you're sitting next to me. Yep. That's the face I was hoping for. Okay, so should we get to the news, or are you gonna? Oh, he's leaving. Okay, cool. So do you have something else to say before I get to the news? Because I don't want to.
No, I was gonna say, you know who my favorite of the non-original companions are? I love the Ithorian. I do. I just love having him running around with
little
me.
hammerhead face. I love it.
Little hammerhead Jedi.
Anyway, he's not a great Jedi.
What was that?
He's not a great Jedi though.
Oh God, no.
He's kind of like the tuna guy.
Yes, but cooler.
The tuna? Is that derogatory for a Malin Calamari? If I call him tuna guy?
Guess.
No, I know who he is, but
You know what the funny thing is?
I said tuna guy and I felt bad. I was
He
like,
is. Well, the sad thing is his last name is Tano. It's almost tuna.
I love it. All right, let's get to some news, man. So we have class changes, medicine operative / Sawbones scoundrel, and this was right before the inevitable delays in the latest patch.
Yep.
But what I thought was really interesting about this is people, I guess, got a little upset about the changes that were coming.
Seriously?
So Musco said, as we continue to look at the changes we had planned supporting data and player feedback, we decided we are not going to be making any changes to the operative and scoundrel healing in 5.4. Right now, these disciplines are outperforming in heals per second, and we do feel they will need to be nerfed at some point. However, even though their HPS is high due to the discipline's lack of burst healing, it can be quite challenging to keep players, especially tanks, alive. So after all of this said and done, they're going to keep taking a look at it and eventually probably change it, but not right now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like when they were going to jack up the price of server transfers again, and then people were like, no, and they're like, all right, we'll put it on for another 6
But again,
months.
this goes back to, I think,
Listening to the audience.
yeah, this new level of discourse between us and the devs where they have these threads, they have them open, they're reading them, people are upset, people are giving them feedback, they take the feedback and they say, okay, we'll meet you halfway.
Yeah.
At least a lot of the time, which is kind of nice.
Yes.
All right, so the maintenance that was supposed to happen Tuesday, today is Thursday, August 24th, 2017. I know what year and date it is. The patch was supposed to be Tuesday. They said, okay, we ran against a bug. It's going to be Wednesday.
Right.
And they said, we can't get past it. It's going to be Thursday. It did happen today. I haven't even updated my client yet, but the people in our Twitter groups and stuff have played through the Flashpoint and stuff like that. We'll report back next week. But, it happened.
Yeah, I still haven't been home to even update my client yet.
Oh, I'll get to some bugs here in a minute. It's going to be great. So
I just realized I'm on my laptop right now. I can update my client. Well,
you could, but then you were going to bog down our Wi-Fi, which is great.
No, I'm just saying.
All right, anyway, so the one thing that Keith said on the 22nd, which was 2 days ago on Tuesday, he says, and this is, again, I think he's kind of half apologizing for, not half apologizing, but basically trying to tell us why he hasn't communicated as much. He said, I've been heads down on a whole variety of things in the last few weeks, so I haven't been as active in the forums or keeping up with the PMs. Long and the short of it is, he said, sorry about having to delay 5.4, but as Musco pointed out, it was too impactful to release. For those who earn the ability to open the Umbora Stronghold, I'm sure you'll find the 5,000 credit price versus the normal 2 million credits a nice change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lastly, we had a few queuing hiccups on our East Coast servers the past couple weeks, which we kind of talked about last week, I think, but they're making some adjustments to hopefully alleviate that. He'll be ready also in a few weeks. It'll be a few weeks before the roadmap is ready to release, the next roadmap.
Right.
But they're making final refinements to the content and delivery schedule, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm digging Keith's roadmaps. They're because for someone like me who doesn't follow like the forums and the feeds every single day, it's a nice little thing. Like once a month we get this is what's coming up in the next 6 weeks.
Exactly, and what I like is the fact that after you run the Flashpoint, I guess, and again I haven't been in game to solidify this, but to be able to buy the Umbara Stronghold, which is a moving train, for 5,000 credits is pretty damn cool.
Okay, every time we talk about this Stronghold and it's a train, it reminds me of Snowpiercer.
It's a train.
Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's like a remake of an Asian film, whatever, but it's with Chris Evans, he of Captain America fame. And it's about this society where like the Earth has died, but the only survivors are living on this train that circles the globe.
Indeed.
And each car is like classes. And
interesting.
it's all
I've heard of that. Yeah. Well, it's not that.
I hate you so much.
Anyway, discussion topics this week. Any guess what it's going to be?
The Umbara Stronghold.
Nope. Patch notes, buddy. Patch notes. I'm not going to go through all of the patch notes. A lot of them are class changes. The main thing, obviously, with update 5.4 that dropped today, Crisis on Umbara. It says, prepare to lead the ultimate covert assault, battle your way across a moving train, brave the wilds of a dark new world, and more in a high-stakes new Flashpoint. And I'm stoked for the Flashpoint. I love Flashpoints.
I do
And
too.
there's a solo mode.
Oh,
so you
is
can
there?
check,
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So you can check it out and don't have to worry about all that stuff. When a deadly traitor is tracked to the shadow world of Umbara, you need to lead a strike team to confront the betrayer before the galaxy is thrown back into war. And it says available solo, story mode, repeatable story, veteran, and master modes.
Very cool.
There's lots of bugs, but we'll get to that in a minute. Mobile base, Umbara mobile base. Once you've uncovered the traitor, expand your command with a new stronghold, and you get an Umbara mobile base. For the first time, personalize your very own moving train and enjoy the sights as the Shadow world's eerie landscape passes by. Right? That's nice. Obviously, Season 8 ended for rank PvP, and Season 9 is beginning with 5.4, and the people in Season 8 will get their rewards, which we talked about a while back.
Yeah, we did.
And if you're interested in this, Season 9 is up. Go. And Senya, who you mentioned earlier. You mentioned Senya.
I did.
You'll be able to customize her. Her appearance can be customized to take advantage of your favorite armor sets, which is pretty cool. And item rating display. This is new, and this is something we talked about at the Pucked Cantina, because they were saying the master mode is going to have an item rating requirement in order to,
Yeah,
I guess, I don't know if it's just master mode, but I haven't, haven't checked it out. But in order to use the group finder, you have to have a certain item rating.
Right. So it basically just says that you don't have any noobs that are going to get into a higher content.
Right. Hello? Is that a question? Don't go yet. Okay. Oh, hello. Hello, everybody. Hi. Okay. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so item rating display. That's new in your UI, I believe. A new addition is made to the character sheet, which displays your average item rating. So
interesting.
again, this will let you kind of determine your overall power rating. So, you know, if you're mostly 242s or whatever, then it'll kind of show that, which is, I
And
think,
then if
kind of
you
cool.
accidentally forgot the other relic that's at like 212.
Yeah. Or like some of my tunes, it's like 120 or whatever it is. But anyway, so I think that's kind of a nice addition. Let's see. What else do we have here? Manon Stronghold, there's some bug fixes. Manon Stronghold I'll probably set as a rest area. I guess I didn't notice that it was not a rest area before. That's a bummer. So you don't get rest XP, I guess. But now
you know,
you do.
I never realized it because all my tunes are 70. But what I have noticed is
Right.
that Manon had the same bug that Yavin had, where, you know, every single time you try to go to your Manon Stronghold, it does the intro
so
cinematic.
annoying. I hope they fix that. It doesn't say it's explicitly here, but it'd be really nice they fix that, because that was a really big pain in the butt.
I mean, you can spacebar through it, but it's still a
But I
pain
feel like
single
every
time.
stronghold, when they first introduce it, has that issue. It's like just one time. I feel like there's something in the code, but I'm no coder, and
Yeah, and you know how you sometimes you're like, okay, well, I've got to go pee, so you know you
I've never gone pee.
so you set it so you try to go to your stronghold, and then you take off, thinking it'll be all loaded when you get back. Well, no, you come back and you realize you've got to hit the spacebar to start the cinematic.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so anything else in here? Let's see. There's a couple bug fixes. Oh, it says the guild interface will no longer jump to the top of the list if a member note or rank is adjusted, so that's kind of nice quality of life. Companions will now be summoned while moving, which, again, I can't wait to check out, because...
Oh, that's awesome. I hate stopping just to summon somebody.
Yeah, it's like, if I can summon a mount while running, I've gotten really used to that.
Or a pet.
Yeah, and having to stop, I'm like, oh, this is dumb. Anyway, so that's a nice quality of life thing.
Oh, if you can summon them while you're running, can you
Mm-hmm.
send them off to sell trash while you're running?
I doubt it, but I don't know. Haven't been in.
And to answer, we've got a question in the chat. After is asking, is there going to be any new race soon? We talked about this, I want to say 2 or 3 episodes ago, that they're still looking at new races, but
Sure.
there's not going to be anything anytime soon.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the last couple of races haven't gone over all that great. I mean, we have the Togruta and the Cathar, and it's like, it's kind of lukewarm. I feel like a little bit.
I haven't unlocked the Tigridia. Well, just because you have to unlock them with cartel coins.
Yeah, but all my tunes are chiss. So what am I going to do?
You're weird.
Well, I think that goes without saying.
You're a chissist.
No, you're a chissist. Because that's like, you're racist against my chissness. I win. Okay, so companions going to be some moving. Let's see. New option has been added to the graphics preference menu for higher graphics settings called Enhanced Shadows, which is kind of cool. So if you have a badass graphics card, you can get some badass shadows.
So my graphics card's pretty good, but my internet sucks. So I still run everything on very low.
Yep. So there's a whole bunch of class changes. I'm not going to go through those. And some updates to item and economy. There was a couple things I wanted to point out in here. There was some issues. Where was it? Multiple typos. There was some typos. No, I think that's about it. Oh, the thing we talked about a couple weeks ago, the unassembled component rewards from various PvP missions have been adjusted, and there's a list in here about that. And there was an issue with Novar Coast, correcting an issue where the Sith Warrior or Jedi Knight who used Force Charge or Force Leap near one of the turrets could get stuck in the terrain, which I find hilarious.
That is funny.
Other than that, man,
that kind of reminds me of, remember the time we were fighting Karaga's Palace?
Yeah.
And I respawned underneath the deck?
No, that was EV.
No, it was Karaga's Palace because
it?
It had the drill things
that
I could see going up, and so I kept trying to tell everybody, drills are coming, because I couldn't do anything. But I'm like, drills are coming.
That was actually pretty funny. All right, man. So 5.4 refined isotope stabilizers and veteran flashpoints. So this came up, I think, today. Eric Musco says, I apologize for missing this in the patch notes. So people were pissed. Apparently they made some, if you don't put in the patch notes, it's a stealth change is what people get upset about. So he says, I apologize for missing this in the patch notes. I verified with the team that this is an intended change. It's intended that the refined isotope stabilizers only drop from master mode flashpoints and operations of all difficulties, as indicated by the stabilizers tooltip. And he'll get this added to the patch notes right away. So
the frustrating thing is because I like to craft on occasion, and I believe those are bound on pickup.
They are, because they come up. I'm pretty sure they are, because they come up as loot on the loot table. For,
so it's frustrating because
for
all
operations.
other crafting mats you can sell or
because I think it's because they drop in ops is the issue. But again, I have a bunch of those things. I have a bunch of those things sitting around.
I've got like 2.
I have more. I have a bunch of those things sitting around.
I hate you.
Well, I'll sell them to you if you're not.
No,
I guess
they're
I can't.
fine. That's
Okay.
the thing.
Well, I won't.
There's no way to get them.
No,
on
but you can sell them, I think.
Well, you can probably sell them to a vendor,
I
but
think
you can't sell them on GTN or trade them.
I don't know if that's 100%. Anybody have a question for the podcast? Okay, you read that. Let's go. Okay, so a couple bugs. So there's a bunch of issues with, of course, with any patch. The first thing here is there's some people having problems joining the story mode. It can't join story mode until solo is completed. Someone says got engaged by champion turret on the train, fell into train and could not get out of combat, which is a problem. So they're looking into these. I basically put this in here because the post is called Numerous New FP, which is Flashpoint. And really what it has to do with is any issues you find with the new Flashpoint, post in there and they're looking into them, which is good.
Yeah. And actually the question from Shaggy in the chat is talking about the possible server merges that we are always constantly talking about, and if they do into one basic 1 mega server and the RP. We actually talked about this 2 shows ago.
2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
And we said, we're cool with server mergers. I mean, we've traded all the time, but
there's issues that are inherent.
There are issues because it's just going to be, you're going to have,
well, name changes,
guild
name
changes
issues,
was the biggest issue.
Stuff.
Guild issues are gonna. We're gonna have to sell all the stuff from your strongholds again and everything. And as for the RP, we talked about the biggest thing would have been the PvE versus PvP ganking sort of thing. But since they have the different instances now, that's not an issue.
Right. There's ways around a lot of the things we brought up, but the bottom line is I don't know if they have the infrastructure or that's what they're planning on doing. So we'll kind of see where they go with it. But my issue, I think, and I talked about this, a couple weeks ago, was losing my name, having the guild having to clear all their stuff out, relocate, unlock stuff, like all that kind of stuff. If they could make it seamless and we wouldn't have to do any of that, that's something else. But otherwise, I think they need to kind of figure out how to solve that problem first, for sure.
Exactly. So this is one of our discussion topics, I believe, back in episode 107. So if you want to check our stream, go check that back out and follow the timestamps.
No, for sure. And the other thing is Galactic Command. There was an issue with Galactic Command. And I think this had to do with the bonus not changing. And then there was some issues with conquests. And I have the links in the show notes to this, to the threads. I think people's conquests were wiped with the new patch, which is a problem. So there's a bunch of other little bugs that are going to keep popping up. Again, this is the first day of the new patch. So, like I said, we haven't dived into it yet. Next week, we'll have a lot more to talk about for sure. But jump in, let us know any issues you have or things you want to talk about for next week. And when we record next Thursday, we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
I'm cool with it.
You don't seem that cool about it, but I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm always cool. I'm like, you got to work at it. Ready to jump into Star Wars?
After that insult, absolutely.
I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for. Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
You, my man, are a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Thank you. I'm pretty excited about Star Wars this week.
Me too. Well, I'm excited about a whole bunch of the news this week, but Star Wars in particular.
But we don't have a lot of stories.
No, but there's a lot of stories over multiple titles.
Exactly. So let's get into this. Do you want to start with the anthology films?
Yeah. Well, we had the big news last week that we talked about that they're definitely working on a Kenobi film is the huge thing. But it looks like that the Boba Fett movie that will not die.
Can I just say something? So, literally the next day, this all got clarified.
Yes.
Excuse me. After we recorded I told you, the Triceratops. After we recorded last week, what was insane is, that next day, a bunch of stories came out. Oh, this is in development, too. This is in development, too.
Yes.
And it's almost like everybody was so excited about the Obi-Wan movie, they didn't realize that in the subtext of some of the confirmations was that they're also working on these other ones.
Yes.
And on the forefront, obviously, is Boba Fett, who I'm not excited about.
No, well,
we've talked about it a million
it's
times.
It's like they're announcing the next phase.
Yeah.
Without saying it's a phase.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a Boba Fett movie. They're in development, which means they're just talking about it.
Right. When something is in development, means there's a pitch that's happened. Nobody's been signed and no script is written.
And there's no director, there's no actors, nothing's committed.
Nobody's been signed.
Yeah.
So when something's in development, that's why there's a term that goes around when something's going around Hollywood and that's in development for a long time. It's in development hell.
Yeah.
And things last in development for a long time. There's actually a great... there's a list that goes around Hollywood every year called the Blacklist. Mm. And I think it's 20 or 25 greatest scripts in Hollywood that are not signed yet.
Interesting.
And they constantly, every year 1 or 2 movies get taken out of that list and get made.
Right.
But it's really interesting to look at that list every year because you get famous writers that just don't have anything coming out.
Right. Wait, this is 109. I think we told them 105.
7.
You said 107?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure we were doing our maths right.
And Shaggy makes a good point. It's almost like a side quest for Star Wars.
It is. And I was explaining this because this is the time of year where I start teaching Star Wars.
It is. Actually, he came into my lab today and he held up something and it was like, look what today is.
Yeah, I was super stoked. So we watched the first 25 minutes today. I do a whole hero's journey thing. We're talking about Star Wars, and it's a lot of fun in my classroom. But trying to explain. So one of the things I ask the kids before I do anything is, what do you know already, right? One of the things that some of the kids one of the main things that the kids brought up was, I don't understand the episode numbers and when things are happening.
Right.
And trying to explain to them, okay, so George Lucas shot 4. Then when that worked, he did 5 and 6.
Right.
Then in the late 90s, he went and did 1, 2, and 3. Then when Disney bought them, they did 7. And then they did Rogue One. Some of the kids had only seen Rogue One, and that was like one of the kids actually first period was like, "Wait, so I saw Rogue One, and that ends like yes." And I was like, "Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. That ends literally before this movie starts because I'm showing them
Right.
episode 4." So it's one of those things where, and then I'm trying to explain them in the anthology movies and that kind of thing. So essentially what we have here is a confirmation of the next anthology movies that they're going to be working on. So we have Boba Fett, we have Yoda, and Jabba the Hutt.
Okay, two things really quick.
Can I tell you which one I'm most excited about?
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Wait.
No.
Two things. The first one, I want to go back to the numbers being out of order thing.
Yeah.
And that's where you just tell them it's about development hell.
Yeah.
Because the first Star Wars script was in development hell forever.
Forever.
Because it went around Hollywood to every studio like twice, and
Right.
everybody passed on it because he had the huge overarching storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fox finally said, okay, we like this part.
Right.
We'll distribute that part.
Right.
And that's why 4 got made.
Well, and also it made more sense. That one literally had a beginning, middle, and end.
Yes.
And could stand alone in case it flopped.
A lot of the others couldn't.
And that was one of the things that I explained to the kids. I said, look, this one actually has a start and a finish.
Yes.
And, you know, if you end it at that medal sequence where they're getting their medals, you could be okay.
Exactly.
you know? So can we
second
talk about
thing
these?
is when we talked about Kenobi last week,
Yeah.
what did I say was my favorite things that they could bring in?
Jabba.
Jabba.
Right.
And talk about the whole gangster hut space and all
Right.
that stuff. And I'm like, if they do a Jabba solo movie, and I don't mean like just Jabba, but like you could totally turn it into a film noir gangster story.
Oh, it'd be badass.
And
It'd be
I'm
dark,
like,
too.
if you get the right director for that, like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's dead now, but guess somebody like Curtis Hanson,
Mm.
who directed LA Confidential,
Oh, okay.
or if you could bring in Christopher Nolan, who did Memento,
Yeah,
something gritty and very noirish.
for sure. And I think that'd be a lot of fun to see, to be
Oh,
honest with you.
absolutely,
It'd be like, you know, it'd almost be like the Godfather of the Star Wars universe.
absolutely, because
You
you'd have huts, you're gonna have Hutta, you'll have Nar Shaddaa, you'll
know,
have
bounty hunters everywhere,
you'll have
slaves.
slicers, slaves.
Yeah, it'd be good.
It'll be all the dark stuff we love.
And if you're watching the Twitch stream, if you're watching the Twitch stream live, or if you're watching after the fact, on the right side of our screen, I found some really cool fan art with Kenobi with the binary sunset in the background. I think that's badass. This all stems off what we were talking about last week. Again, I'm pretty lukewarm on the Boba Fett movie, but Yoda intrigues me a bit. I don't know. Shoot, where the hell would they? What time period could they possibly do? By the time we see him in the original trilogy, you know, he's almost 900 years old.
Okay, there's a few different things that we could totally go off on here.
All right.
Because he has had so many famous people that have been his apprentices.
Sure.
Dooku.
Yeah. Well, young Dooku would be badass.
Qui-Gon was his apprentice.
That's true. Okay.
Oh, gosh. And I'm drawing a blank on who his master was. But you could do either that. You could either have Yoda as the apprentice. Or
That could be interesting. Like, well, I don't know if I want to see a Yoda origin story only in that, right? Because of the mystery that they've kept for some reason around his species.
True. There's only like 3 of them in the entire saga.
From what I understand, even though there's some lookalikes out there, he's the only one. Those other ones just kind of look similar to his race, from what I understand from the lore.
Interesting.
So,
The one thing I don't see because of that happening is that'll go so far back in time. They're getting close to Old Republic time.
They
frame,
are.
So they're going to have to pull stuff. I mean, it's only a third or halfway there.
right.
But I think the best one would be to start off with Dooku as his apprentice and have that end, and he picks up Qui-Gon
That'd be cool.
and have that little thing is like, okay, well, did he fail with Dooku? Because Dooku doesn't turn to the dark side until later.
But here's my thing with that. My only issue with that is I feel like, again, that's just another prequel movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same time period as the prequels.
No.
No. But you know what I mean? I feel like it's the same feel because it leaks into Dooku doing his thing and
it's the
blah,
same
blah.
thing that Rogue One did.
But I guess what I'm just thinking of is the animosity towards the prequels. So
Well, I
maybe
think
they
this
want to
is
stay around off that particular time frame.
Well, I think by having somebody from the prequels who is so loved like Qui-Gon,
yeah.
I mean, like they're doing Kenobi, and
True.
that's very. I mean, especially if they bring back Ewan McGregor, that's very prequelish.
Mm-hmm.
So if Kenobi succeeds, which I don't see how it could fail,
Yeah.
that would bring in the goodwill.
I think it's important they do Kenobi first, and that works.
Yes,
And then they can solidify wherever they want to go. And I think, and I'm with you. It would be cool to see a young Dooku. It would be cool to see a young Qui-Gon.
the one thing I don't want is there to be just like a random Yoda movie where he's off on an adventure.
Yeah.
Because that won't have any grounding to anything.
Well, it
else.
doesn't have any impact on the wider world.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, we already have some of Yoda's background from when he goes into exile and stuff from the prequels and all of that. So where else do you go? You got to go much farther back, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's as much as I love Yoda, I don't want to watch a movie that's just the time frame from when he goes into exile after Attack of the Clones to when he's found in Empire.
I was just going to say the same thing. But the opposite of that is I really want to see when Obi-Wan goes into exile to watch Luke. That's what I want to see.
That's different.
That's different.
Because
But
it's much more hands-on.
agreed. Yeah.
One thing I think would be very interesting, and this would be a very good way of bringing something from other medium into the main saga, is the one adventure I would like to see. Imagine him and Qui-Gon going off on an adventure to Dathomir and running into the Night Sisters.
Oh.
Because having Yoda fight the Night Sisters would be very interesting. And what's great is that you could see a child Maul.
Yep. Just
there.
take my money now. You win.
And
I
it
don't
could
have
be-
any money, but
And
you
the
have
reason,
it.
well, and it could be that the Night Sisters are fairly dark side anyways.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that Maul could have gone total dark side is, who knows, maybe Qui-Gon killed Maul's mom.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm in on that for sure. So as these stories develop, we'll kind of come back to it. Obviously, it's going to be years of this, but
I do have one bit of I actually put this in the wrong spot, but I do have one bit of news about Kenobi that came out today.
Okay.
And it's that they released a working title.
Oh, go for it.
And it, very similar to like Star Wars working titles, Blue Harvest, and
Yep.
a whole bunch of other stuff. Kenobi's working title is Joshua Tree,
Oh, interesting.
which totally makes it seem like it's going to be taking place on Tatooine.
Yeah, no, I hope so. That's gonna be great. All right, so we'll come back to these. I am excited about the Jabba the Hutt movie more than the Twitter feed when this came to light was hilarious. Like watching people's reactions to it.
Yeah.
It was like basically Lana from Archer Nope in like any way you can come up with.
Okay, that's funny. I mean, as long as they go noir, and if they have,
It's got to be dark.
and I think they have
It's
to
got to
put
be
him
a
on,
gangster movie.
Yeah, they have to put him on Nar Shaddaa.
Yeah.
They can't have him on Tatooine again because I think they kind of ruined Jabba being on Tatooine with Phantom Menace
Oh, absolutely.
when he falls asleep starting the pod
Yeah.
race and everything.
Yeah.
You have to have him in his heyday as a gangster.
Yeah,
I mean,
as a young
seriously,
Hutt gangster.
like even more than Godfather. Seriously, this needs to be Jabba as Scarface.
Oh yeah, that'd be bad.
It has to be brutal.
I'm in.
All right.
Oh, what if he gets the Rancor?
Oh,
That would
that'd
be kinda cool, right?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
He like maybe he raises the Rancor or like gets the Rancor and like I got excited.
Bib
about-
Fortuna joining this. Oh.
Oh, him meeting Bib Fortuna would be cool too. See, people are scoffing.
But there's such a good. You could do a really good story with Jabba.
Yeah, it'd be sick. All right,
Because it's not about Jabba, it's about the world.
exactly.
All right, so tell me about some Han Solo stuff.
Han Solo. So Michelle K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams.
What did I say?
Michelle.
Huh? Michael K. Williams is out of the Han Solo movie. And again, the Han Solo movie is in a little bit of turmoil right now.
Well, not turmoil, it's just in reshoots. And so, of course,
Well, the reshoots
Howard's
are,
taking in different directions.
yeah, the reshoots are the issue. I guess homeboy Williams was not available for the reshoots.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily that he wasn't good or that but he was committed to another film and so he couldn't do the reshoots.
yeah, and so they cut him out. And this says Williams was playing, let's see, a half human, half animal character. We created a kick-ass character, in my opinion. I'm proud of it, said Williams. We love Williams, so it's definitely a bummer. So he just could not be there
Yeah,
for
well,
reshoots.
they could always bring him into the Jabba movie. 'Cause
Absolutely.
It's the same time frame.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. New rumors suggest Maz Kanata could appear in the Han Solo film. This is a rumor, obviously, but doesn't that make sense?
I told him, I mean, well, that's another person that could show up in the Yoda movie.
Yeah, but they
'Cause
also
she's 1,000 years old.
true. I like the fact that when we meet Maz in The Force Awakens, they're alluding to a long relationship she has with Han. She
Yes.
knows he's there. Obviously, her and Chewie have hung out together. I mean, there's a relationship there. So
It totally makes sense for her to be in it.
It makes a ton of sense. So hopefully that happens. I would love to see Maz Kanata in that film.
Yeah, and Lupita Nyong'o did a great job in that
She really
character.
did. She really did. And we finally found out who Emilia Clarke is playing
Ooh, who is she playing?
in the Han Solo movie.
If you don't know Emilia Clarke by name, she is the Breaker of Chains, Daenerys.
Mother of Dragons. She has like 20 different titles.
Stormborn.
I was looking at you. I was like, you're trying to think of another one, aren't you? Let's see. What was some of the
First
other
of her
ones?
name.
Oh, damn you. All right. So let me find the exact phrasing here.
Queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
Okay. Are you gonna keep doing that? Come up with another one. Let's see. So while discussing his character with Vanity Fair, Williams revealed his character. Oh no, that was. Williams revealed his character was a link between Han Solo and Emilia's character Kira. And let's see, who's Kira? Let me find it. But making Star Wars add another wrinkle to the saga when they reported their source on a set said the name is actually spelled Kura, K-U-R-A, though it's pronounced similarly. They said they were waiting for more information before reporting, but Williams spilling the beans to Vanity Fair might be the confirmation they were looking for. It's not much, but that is how two new characters we know about requiring the Han Solo spin-off movie. So, did I skip something? Hold
So
on.
if he's the connection between Han and her, and he's no longer in it, how is she going to be connected?
Oh, I see how this is. The Art of the Force Awakens book reveals concept pieces of main character Rey, who was previously referred to as Kira before her name was finalized. Kasdan co-wrote Star Wars Force Awakens. Hold on. What am I missing? I read this earlier. What am I missing? Hold on. I'm really annoyed by this now, because I'm going to cut this whole part now. Woody Harrelson previously revealed that he's playing Han Solo's mentor character, Beckett. Does it actually say who she is? I hate everything about this article. These are the articles that piss me off. While discussing his character with... Okay, hold on. I'm just going to start at the beginning. We might have just learned the movie's official title in the wake of Homeboy being cut. We just talked about that. We know who Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke will be playing in the spinoff. While discussing his character... I just said that, so we don't know who it is. Kira is all we have. That says nothing.
1 second.
I'm going to cut all of that.
I'm checking something.
I hate everything about it. I'm moving on. While he's checking something, I'm going to get set up for... Are we going to watch this featurette?
Yeah,
Damn it.
it's only like a minute.
Okay. Dad, go. So the dog entered the room. Go. Go. Damn it. 1 sec.
Yeah, it just says Kira.
If my door wasn't useless.
All right.
Oh no, that'll be a blooper. Or I'll just I'll just carve it as I do. Bottom line is, all we know is it's Kira.
Yes.
I read a little more into it earlier than I thought and skipped a paragraph.
All right,
That's
so this next thing, it's about a minute,
We're
minute and a half
just-
long,
We're just glossing over.
glossing. And it's a featurette on Thrawn and how he got brought into Rebels. And this is a featurette that's going to be on the Season 3 Blu-rays of Rebels.
You see a couch that's been put to rest about when
You
Parker...
can probably hear it. I'm going to mute this tab real quick when I get this going. So you talk to the people. You're not going to say anything, are you?
I was about to say something, but then you started talking, and I would just like to say I know a lot of our fans from outside the Southern California area, but go Dodgers! They won again today.
Are you kidding me with the sports? Are you kidding me with the sports ball?
You got a problem with the sports ball?
Don't bring the sports ball into my podcast.
How about Warriors suck?
Here we go. We're going to watch this.
Who was that blue guy?
Grand Admiral Thrawn. Kerry Hart and I had played with the idea of putting Thrawn in Rebels for a while.
Before I ever worked at Lucasfilm or ever imagined that I could work at Lucasfilm, I loved that trilogy, Heir to the Empire. I loved the character immediately. He was just so different.
There's in particular a character that would always come up with us in story meetings, especially for our characters in the Empire, and that is Thrawn. So we have taken him and put him into Rebels.
I am honored and floored and excited and scared all at the same time.
For those who don't know, Thrawn was the major villain in the trilogy of novels written by Timothy Zahn. He's a Chiss, which is the blue-skinned humanoid alien with glowing red eyes. The fact that now he was going to be realized in animation made a lot of people very excited.
Hello, it's nice to meet you.
She has a book to sign.
When Heir to the Empire came out, I was still in high school in Kansas. My whole family, we had to drive 2 hours to go to a bookstore to get Heir to the Empire the day it came out. And then there was a big fight of who's going to get to read it first. I just soaked it up. I reread it like 1,000 times. Like I actually stole it and brought it with me. My family doesn't have it anymore. And so when Timothy Zahn came, they could sign it. But it's yeah, it has a big place in my heart. Killian, the art director, he knows I'm a huge nerd. And so he's like, "You're getting Thrawn." And I'm like, "What?" Yes, I'm nerding out about it right now, again. And it's been like months later.
Oh my god. That's sick, dude. I like that kind of stuff.
So she's a huge Thrawn fan since she was in high school, and she ended up being the animator for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those that's one of those nerd dreams come true. It's like you obsessed about something your whole life, you pursue something that might coincide with it at some point, and then when you get it, then what do you do?
Exactly.
You just like flip your poop and deal with it, you know? I was gonna say shit, but then I didn't, and then I just said it then, so then we're gonna move on. So
okay, that reminds me of Love Actually when she meets Hugh Grant, the Prime Minister, for the first time, and
right.
And he goes, I did have an awful premonition I was gonna fuck up on my first day. Oh, piss it.
Okay, moving on. So I love that Thrawn is in Rebels.
Yes, I love it.
And again, I love that trilogy, and I'm glad we talked about this week because at our Puck Cantina, what is that, episode 106? 106?
Yeah.
We talked a lot about Thrawn. We have a lot of Thrawn lovers in that circle. So I'm glad about that.
Okay, depending on how Thrawn ends up with the 4th season of Rebels, can you imagine if Thrawn ends up in Kenobi?
Oh, yes, I can. I have a good imagination. Do you want to touch on these two things, or you want to skip them? I'm right with skipping them if you want.
Yeah, no, we can skip those.
Yeah, we'll skip these. Behind the scenes. Merchandise. Before we get out of here.
Merch.
I love talking about merchandise.
Okay, this first
Have
article,
you seen this?
I have purposely not opened it to look at it yet. I don't know what it looks like.
I might put it up in the chat because it's crazy. Hold on a second. I haven't looked at it either. So the title is New Porg Toy for The Last Jedi Will Give You Nightmares.
And if you don't know, the Porgs are the Puffin-inspired creatures on Octu that somehow make it into the Millennium Falcon.
Indeed. All right, here we go. I'm going... this is someone's Instagram. I'm going to see if I can capture just this. Hold on. This is going to make the people watching live very happy, so bear with me. Hold on. You're going to be stoked. And by happy, I mean you're going to be probably terrified, which is going to be hilarious for all of us. Hold on. Let me get rid of old Obi-Wan here real quick. All right, ready? Let's see what this looks like. Oh, there's no sound. There's no sound.
You muted the tab.
Oh. Is that what they sound like?
Evidently. Okay, I would like to...
Evidently? I hate everything about it.
Okay, go ahead and mute it. Of course, it reminds me a little bit of Tickle Me Elmo, and as somebody who worked in like that field when Tickle Me Elmo came out.
Right.
This is less Tickle Me Elmo and more Murder Me Porgy.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta get rid of this.
Okay, what I want you to imagine is you getting this for your daughters, and it being out in the living room, facing your office, and it goes off in the middle of the night.
No, I look, bro. There's a lot of reasons why I don't buy stuff like this for my kids, because I'm afraid like one night I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna turn to the side and I'll be like, oh, hello, wife, and it's gonna be this freaking porg and porg. I don't care what porg, and it's gonna be sitting there and it's gonna be a meh, meh. I don't like anything about that.
He's like, Marshall, come play with us.
Nope, that's disgusting. Okay, so ironically. Not ironically, but coincidentally, today, sir, is National Waffle Day. Did you know that?
I love waffles.
Yeah, who doesn't? Just as a weird coincidence, look at the next piece of merch I put into the show outline.
Oh, is it the Star Wars waffle iron?
Waffle iron is amazing. There's a link in the show notes. I'm not going to put in the thing in interest of time, but it's a 4-chamber deal, and one is a X-Wing, and then one that says Star Wars, one's a Millennium Falcon, and one is a Republic symbol. It's really, really, it's really cool. And I want to eat waffles now. Did you see it? Are you not looking?
Yeah, I saw it. That's very cool.
Oh, good. Okay, well, the way podcasts work is I say a thing and you say a thing back, and then it's like
Sorry, I was doing a little research for the next article.
It's a whole back and forth kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what the back and forth is? Boom, boom, back and forth, back and forth. I'm flipping them off.
All right, can we move on?
Absolutely.
I feel like this is deteriorating. All right, we're gonna get to our last section, and I never changed SWTOR. Hold on, just so everybody doesn't feel like I cheated them. Now it's Star Wars. Okay, now it's not. Here we go.
I can't imagine any kind of future where I'm a hero. Well, you're not. In the future, none of you are heroes. You're legends.
We actually have some Legends news this week.
Do we?
Yeah. Well, I put some in.
Awesome. The first things, of course, we've got to deal with is, those who, we lost this week. And we lost 2 icons this week. First of all, Jerry Lewis was 94. Thanks, Steve.
Yes, indeed.
Whether you loved him or hated him, Jerry Lewis was an icon. As much as David Hasselhoff is loved by the Germans, Jerry Lewis is loved by the French. And, he did some classic movies like Cinderfella and Nutty Professor, the original one before it was redone by Eddie Murphy. But most famously, he was a tandem with Dean Martin and Martin and Lewis.
For sure.
And you're an icon when Tarantino references you in a movie. And I still remember in Pulp Fiction when Mia Wallace and Vincent Vega go to Jackrabbit Slim's, and she wants a shake, and they ask, do you want an Amos and Andy or Martin and Lewis?
Yeah.
And
meaning about that.
Meaning alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Nice.
And is what I'm guessing that meant, or either vanilla or chocolate.
Something like that.
But it doesn't matter because, you just got referenced. And, his Nutty Professor is great. Cinderfella was great. And don't forget all the money he raised from muscular dystrophy with Jerry's kids.
Oh, man. Yeah. This section's always tough just because, again, like I always say, we're of the age where we're going to see a lot of these icons fall,
Yeah.
But Jerry Lewis was, 92?
94, I think.
90-something? Crazy long life.
Exactly. So. Then the other one we lost is an 84-year-old, and it's Dick Gregory. A lot of people, even our age, probably don't know who he is, but definitely younger. He was an icon, civil rights activist in the 60s and 70s, but he was a stand-up comic. And he was in that, he was before Pryor and right about the time as Red Fox.
Right.
And but to kind of give you an idea, he was one of the very first African-American comics to be invited to perform at White Clubs.
That's crazy.
And his big break was, I believe, 1961, when Hefner himself invited him to fill into the Playboy Club in Chicago.
That's insane. Can you imagine?
So that's a major movement for him. And I was telling you, later on in life, he ended up doing like it was like a Slim Fast type of drink or something in the 80s. And I remember watching House Party with Kid and Play.
Mm-hmm.
and in the movie, kid's dad says, "Go get me some glass of Dick Gregory," and like that was the first time I'd ever heard the name Dick Gregory.
Right.
But then I became a big fan of stand-up comics, and I love those people that are like really subvert. I mean, like you always hear about Lenny Bruce and people like that, but Dick Gregory was very groundbreaking. So, hats off to him.
Yeah.
Long life.
But again, man, I mean, if you lived to your late 80s, early 90s, you've had a hell of a life. And obviously, if we're talking about them, if they had an influence on pop culture and comedy and everything else, I mean, it's super important. So I'm glad that they had the life they had, but at the same time, it's sad to see them go.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, just go to YouTube and search some Dick Gregory stand-up.
Yeah.
The guy was hilarious and subversive and so important. So check him out.
Totally, man. Real reviews? I only have one item in here.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, well, Samuel Jackson apparently is returning for a Shaft sequel.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, that's what you're waiting for, weren't you?
I was totally waiting. How did you not see that coming?
Quite frankly, I'm disappointed I didn't.
Okay, that's where you should like you were really on the back and forth, you would have come back saying, "I'm just talking about Shaft."
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm not doing that because I'm not placating to your shenanigans. That's what I've decided.
Shenanigans.
Okay, so New Line Cinema is finally putting a sequel to the 2000 Shaft reboot.
Which is actually it's a.
It wasn't bad.
No, it's not bad, and it's kind of cultish.
Yeah. And Samuel Jackson is reportedly in talks to return to the iconic role. The sequel is to be a proverbial passing of the torch installment with actor Jesse T. Usher. Survivor's Remorse, which I'm not familiar with, in talks to play Shaft's son, who will potentially take over the franchise going forward. So they're trying to make it a franchise, apparently.
All right.
And Variety reports that Fantastic Four and Barbershop's Tim Story is in talks to direct the sequel.
All right, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, and what's so funny is like we talk about the major franchises that we see big movies coming out every year or every other year, like Fast and the Furious or Star Wars or anything like that. But underground, we have these like movies that have like just this last week, it's an animated one, but it's a new Starship Troopers came out.
Right.
Has Casper Van Dien.
I saw that, and we never talked about it. But
no,
yeah.
There's been like 3 or 4 Marine movies. What was the other one I was just thinking about? Was
head on the mic, so I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You'll come up with it.
But there's a whole bunch of House Party we were talking about. They had like 4 House Party movies,
which is crazy. It's crazy. Let's get to Universal stuff, dude. So really, what it comes down to is let's talk about this first one. Ryan Reynolds, of course, wants a lot of things. He's obviously very excited about how Deadpool went. Deadpool 2 is in production. We talked about that a lot about that last week. And then he wants a rated R Deadpool and Avengers crossover. Without diving too much into the specifics of what he said, I'm just curious of what you think that would look like.
I have 2 words to say. Not happening.
It's not going to happen.
For a couple of different reasons. First of all, Avengers are not rated R.
No.
They're not. No. It totally makes sense for a Deadpool X-Force.
Yeah,
that's
I can
rated
see that.
R.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Avengers, just the people in the Avengers are too wholesome. I mean, you can't have Deadpool and Captain America bantering back and forth. It's just not going to happen.
No.
It's going to be too awkward.
Yeah.
Second of all, Fox and Marvel do not play nice.
True.
So, I mean, they for as much like teamwork that we got between Marvel and Sony for Spider-Man, that's not going to happen with Fox.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Fox is so stranglehold on their properties that, I mean, Marvel had to create the Inhumans just because they couldn't use the word mutant.
Right.
They'd rather create a whole different story and franchise than try to get the rights to mutant back.
Well, and that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they didn't use mutants either.
Exactly.
It's this whole thing. Yeah, man, I know this would never happen, but it would be kind of cool to see the Hulk rip people in half, like literally.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like seeing Hawkeye shoot a arrow to the eye.
Yeah. Oh, we always have to have an arrow to the eye.
Finally have Samuel Jackson swear as Nick Fury. Something like that.
That'd be cool.
Anyway. Maybe Black Widow flashing a boob. I'm just saying.
So, I almost tried to cut you off because I felt like you were gonna go like someone had to show something, but then I thought about Black Widow at the same time you did, and I was like, oh shoot, he's going there, and you did. So,
but it really wouldn't make sense because
it wouldn't make sense.
No, because for as many of those characters that theoretically could do something that would be R-rated,
right?
You have Ant-Man, you've got Captain America, you've got Falcon.
You've got enough.
All these people that are so G,
right?
That it's not. It would totally be uncomfortably weird.
Yeah, I agree, and it would probably kind of feel a bit forced.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's like, what could Captain America do that was rated R? Okay, well, he'd have to brutally kill someone, and there'd have to be blood, and he'd probably have to drop the F-bomb, and he's Captain America.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not a thing.
And if this were to ever happen, this would be the jumping of the shark for superhero movies.
You think so? Okay.
Oh yeah, because the only
Bold
reason
statement.
The only reason to do it would be a money grab, and for everything that they do, it would
piggyback on Deadpool's success.
Yeah, for everything
Deadpool
it is
2,
that it's all about money, which it is. They still serve story.
Yeah, I agree.
This has absolutely nothing to do with story.
I agree, man. Let's get to Berlanti stuff. The only Flash story I have this week made me so happy. I sent it to my wife because my wife and I are really big Battlestar Galactica fans.
Yes.
And so when one of our favorite characters from the reboot, I guess, of that is the Starbuck character who they changed from male to female, and the actress name was Katie Sackhoff.
Yes.
And my wife's name is Katie, which is also kind of weird, but it's okay. But Katie Sackhoff has been confirmed. She is coming back. She is coming to The Flash. She's been confirmed for The Flash.
And isn't Katie Sackhoff the actress that was in Big Bang Theory? In somebody's visions,
yes.
She's always in the bathtub.
Yeah, she did show up at some point. Yeah, in Big Bang.
I want to say it was Wolowitz's before he got married.
I think you're right. It's early season though.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But Sackhoff will play the DC Comics villain Emnuet Black, also known as Blacksmith, according to Entertainment Weekly. Blacksmith runs a black market for supervillains and uses every means possible, this is in quotes, including the long list of metahumans under her thumb to ensure her illicit enterprise thrives. I cannot wait
that will be
to
good.
see her play a villain.
Yes.
In the Flash universe. It's going to be great. So she will show up in the 5th episode of the new season titled Girls Night Out.
Nice.
Which will also feature a guest appearance by Arrow star Emily Bett Rickards as Felicity Smoke.
Yeah, because actually I saw a picture that was talking about that this is going to be like all girls based.
Yeah.
Because there's a picture I saw that had Felicity, Speedy, the new Black Canary,
right,
and I think the Earth 2 Black Canary.
Oh, probably. You know, this makes me so happy.
Yes, strong women.
Yeah, but not only that, I have a thing for Katie Sackhoff. Have I said it? That's on mic now, people. There it is. There it is. All right, Legends of Tomorrow news. I have a few things. Legends of Tomorrow cast Jessica Jones, alum, as Ray Palmer's mom. So this is interesting because if you are watching... I gotta mute this tab because it's just ridiculous. If you ever watch Jessica Jones, okay, it says TV Line is reporting that Susie, I don't know how to say his last name, Abromet,
yeah,
from Chicago Med and Battle Los Angeles, has been cast as the mother of Ray Palmer / the Atom, and on Legends of Tomorrow. Comic fans will best recognize Abromet from role as Jerry Hogarth's girlfriend, Pam, in Jessica Jones' first season. So, if you saw Jessica Jones...
Yes.
Hogarth, who is the lawyer in it, she shows up in The Defenders. We've been watching The Defenders, by the way. This woman plays her girlfriend in Jessica Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So, I'm excited about that. It's casting news. That's all I've got.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm excited about this next one.
Yeah. So, the executive producer of Legends of Tomorrow wants Jonah Hex and Constantine to be in the next season.
Well, Jonah Hex has been in the last 2.
He has.
And Constantine has been in Arrow.
Yep.
And I love the actor who plays Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as a push there was to try to get Constantine back, I don't think it's happening.
No, I don't think so either. But Jonah Hex is a good bet.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I can see Constantine coming back. I just don't think Constantine will come back as.
Oh, you mean as a show?
As a show.
Okay, yeah. The characters I think are going to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And Constantine's character, I mean, like I said, the actor's great. It fits. And I think where this next season is gonna go, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to at least revisit Jonah Hex.
Well, it also makes a lot of sense with how much trouble the DCU is trying to get Justice League Dark working out. And actually, I have a little bit of Justice League Dark news later, because Constantine is the leader of the Justice League Dark.
Yeah,
and they're having a hard time getting that movie off the ground. And this is kind of like the Berlanti versus Stamp, and like saying, okay, you're not doing this character right. We got this character right.
Yeah.
Let us do it.
I'm with you, man. Also, the showrunner is teasing Captain Cold's return, which isn't really, obviously, I guess, surprising.
No, I mean, Prison Break's over. It's time for Wentworth Miller to come back.
Yeah, he's going to come back in one way, shape, or form, and I love his character. Oh, my God. The way he talks, it just makes me so happy. So I'm excited about that. Let's get to DCU news because there's some stuff happening.
There's some stuff going on. Let's talk about the third one first.
The third what? This one?
The
this
Joker.
one? Oh, the Joker. Let's talk about the Joker. So Martin Scorsese apparently is going to executive produce a standalone Joker origin story movie without Jared Leto.
Which actually I can see.
Yeah, another actor is going to play it. And my guess is going to be sort of young Han Solo-ish, where it's going to be a younger version of him, maybe the origin. And if it's going to be an origin story, it makes sense not to use Leto, I guess. But
well, yeah, but one of the articles I read about this is like one way that they could go about it is the DC animated movie of Mask of the Phantasm shows a lot of Joker when he was a crime boss before he went crazy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Before he got the makeup and all that stuff. So you could definitely have somebody like that playing that role.
Yeah.
And I could see them totally going very Gotham, like, you know, everybody's younger.
Sounds good to me. I didn't have as I didn't have as big of an issue with Jared Leto as some people had.
No, I thought he was all right. I just think it was the way that the film was cut. It made it weird.
I agree. Do we want to do this next one?
No, we can skip that one.
Yeah,
but we should go up to the news now.
Yeah, go back up. Go ahead.
So on top of that, Jared Leto's actually been confirmed for 2 movies. He's confirmed that he's going to be in Suicide Squad 2, which we already pretty much guessed.
Right.
And he's going to be in Gotham City Sirens, which we guessed.
Which we kind of guessed both of these already.
Right. But then the big news on top of that, a day later, which is even weirder,
right,
is that there's going to be a Joker Harley Quinn spinoff movie.
Which I think they need to do.
Yes.
They need to flesh that story out between our current Joker and our current Harley Quinn. They are say what you want about Jared Leto's Joker. Harley Quinn's this iteration of Harley Quinn went over really well.
Yes, and the way that they interact was very good.
And that relationship needs to be explained. And they can go anywhere in the DC catalog and grab stuff and make it something really amazing. And absolutely. I think really give some. And again, this is a villain story, but at the same time, every villain has an origin somewhere, right?
Yeah, and this what I think this should not be an origin story because they've already kind of touched on the origin of their relationship in Suicide Squad, right? But what I love about this concept is if they just. This is one where I'm like, I just want an adventure of theirs.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want an origin. I don't want to see how it connects to Suicide Squad.
Right.
What I want is a freaking Bonnie and Clyde movie with these two.
That'd be really cool. I would like to see, and then having on the fringe of that going on is a city trying to deal with the two of them. Maybe even some inklings of the Batman kind of trying to deal with them, but can't kind of stuff. You
Reference
know what I mean?
him. He doesn't even have to be.
No, he doesn't even have to show up, but it's just like, you know.
I mean, you could have little things like a batarang stuck in a wall, or
like he's on their tail but can't keep up with them at this point in their career.
But the important thing is you should never see them because that's how good they are.
Right,
is that they cannot be caught.
Exactly. I think that's something that there's so many places that could go. And for the DCEU, I want them to get it right. I want them to get that right.
Right.
I want them to get a couple of these upcoming stories right because they need it. Because
Right, well,
Marvel
if
is
you-
winning.
Okay, they
Big
are.
time.
But what is DC doing right that Marvel is not?
TV.
Well, Berlanti's doing that.
Berlanti, I guess.
In
yeah.
the DCEU, what are they doing right? They're getting the women right.
True.
Wonder Woman kicks butt.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn kicks
That's
butt.
true.
Those women are key, whereas they have failed Black Widow.
Yeah, and I take back my previous comment. Marvel TV, I still that's a tough one.
I've got some Marvel TV news
Because
coming up too.
we have Berlanti, but then we have the
Berlanti-
Marvel
Berlanti
Defender
kicked
stuff.
everybody's
I mean, that's true. I guess. Yeah, I'll tip my hat to Berlanti for sure. All right.
But that's the one thing that Marvel isn't doing right, and which is such a shame because they had Joss Whedon and didn't use him correctly. That they failed Black Widow. They have to get Captain Marvel right.
But that's still what, a year or two off,
Right.
at least.
But what I love about DC is they've nailed Wonder Woman. They've nailed Harley Quinn. You know Joss Whedon's going to knock Batgirl out of the
Oh
park.
yeah, Batgirl's gonna be sick. Yep.
So they're getting the women's stuff down cold.
Good. Should we talk about Wonder Woman?
It's past 800 million worldwide.
Oh my God, that's a lot of money.
It's a juggernaut.
It's huge. It's huge. And Patty Jenkins is reporting in line for a massive pay raise. Duh.
Shocker.
If they're gonna keep her, they better pay her.
Exactly.
And they need to pay her. They need, like you just said, they absolutely have to keep getting it right. She nailed it the first time. Don't give up on her. Don't try to find someone to fill her in for the second time because you don't want to pay her.
Exactly.
What's the chat saying? Let's see. DC Jonah Hex movie would be sick.
Ironically enough, we have Josh Brolin, who was, of course, Thanos and will now play Cable.
Right.
He was Jonah Hex in the original Jonah Hex movie.
Yeah, that's right.
So he has now done DC, Fox, and Marvel.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Let's get to
and actually, I could see Jonah Hex more as a Berlanti spinoff.
Oh yeah, I would like to see that actually.
And more like something
It'd be really well done.
Yeah, something
like a Western.
Oh, absolutely! It's
Oh,
got to be a
badass
Western.
Western.
But kind of like what they kind of did with what Constantine has ended up in. Constantine was a short season. It was 13 episodes. If they had made that a 10 to 13 and made it a closed arc instead of having open ended, which it ended up being, make Jonah Hex a closed arc of 10 episodes.
Yeah, that'd be sick
for a mid-season replacement.
Like
and honestly, they already have Legends of Tomorrow only going 15, 16 episodes a season.
True.
Put that as the spring show. Put Jonah Hex as a fall show, and you could actually cycle it out. You could do a Jonah Hex show. You could do a.
You know what I'm confused about at this point?
Why aren't we working in this industry?
Why haven't they hired us?
I know, right?
It's because no one listens to our show.
I know.
Okay,
but they
so
should.
Justice League. There's a rumor that says Lex Luthor's scenes have been cut from Justice League.
Mercifully.
And
okay, don't get me wrong. I love Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
I thought he was great in Social Network. I thought he was great in Zombieland. I thought he was great in Adventureland.
His Luthor was weird, though.
His Luthor was weird, especially considering how good Lena Luthor and Mama Luthor are in Supergirl, which you are still way behind on. You haven't even met the
It's
Luthers
okay.
there
I'm
yet.
not worried about that.
They are phenomenal as the Luthers, and they actually reference Lex.
Really? Okay.
And he just did not do it well.
All right. So next, Justice League Dark. What do you got?
Yeah, well, Justice League Dark has already lost 2 directors. It lost Doug Liman, who did Edge of Tomorrow, Swingers, the first Bourne movie.
We all love Swingers.
And they lost Guillermo del Toro, who we talked about last week, how he's doing his own movie now. Now the whole script is getting a rewrite, so it's back in development.
All right. Well, happens.
Yes.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it's the second one.
This makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is Suicide Squad 2 is too much of a moneymaker for them right now. They just property.
Emmy,
Oscar
award winning.
And actually, I didn't hate. Okay, I will say this.
I just do it as a joke.
I loved 95% of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Can you guess the 2 things I could have done without?
No.
Enchantress.
Huh?
And Slipknot.
Slipknot was pointless. With you on that.
The only point.
Enchantress. I just think the visuals were weird.
It was weird, and just I thought Cara Delevingne was okay. I just think the point of her was weird.
My issue was just, honestly, and Redna and I were having this conversation the other day on Twitter. He's like, I don't know what, he finally watched it. And he's like, well, I don't know what all the, I actually liked it. And I said, I liked it too. I just thought the pacing was weird.
The pacing was, and that's all about the reshoot.
Yeah, and for me, and I've said this a million times.
I'd like to see the original cut.
I like a good bar scene in a movie. I think,
and they cut part of it.
It's perfect for character development. You get to see interaction between the characters, and you get to deal with that. But it was like they're moving into this section of the city where there's enemies all around. They're like, so everybody want to stop for a drink?
I know, right?
And it was just like, what the frick? Are you kidding me?
It made sense in the storyline about what they had found out and stuff.
Sure,
but like situational awareness, not
it
the
didn't
high
make
point.
It didn't make a lick of sense. Anyway,
no.
That was my beef.
The three best things about that movie were Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and Diablo.
Oh, great! All of them, wonderful.
They were all the actors, and I just think Slipknot was the whole point of him being in the movie was to kill him.
Well, it was to kill him to showcase the fact that
but the thing is
that the things in their heads were a thing.
And Adam Beach was too good an actor for them to do that too.
That was kind of messed up.
Exactly.
Anyway, we've talked about that a million times.
So the whole point of Suicide Squad 2 is getting fast-tracked with all the announcement of the Harley Quinn Joker movie, with the Gotham City Sirens maybe getting pushed back on stuff. They need to clear out the way for these movies.
Yeah, they do.
And so Suicide Squad 2 is getting fast-tracked. The script is getting wrapped up right now. David Yates, I believe, has already signed on to direct. They've already signed all the cast on. They just need it in...
They just need to bust that out.
Yeah, so evidently it's going to go into production sometime in 2018.
Okay, sweet. Do you want to do this Disney one or not?
No, screw it.
Yeah. I think it's going to mess up our pacing.
It will, absolutely.
And I'm all about pacing, as I just said. What I really like this story. It's barely a story, but Deadpool 2 is the only thing I have about this after last week's old Deadpool stuff. Some set photos could hint that the Juggernaut could be in the film.
Okay, are they going to bring back...
I love the Juggernaut. Do you realize how excited...
No,
every time the Juggernaut showed up in the X-Men animated series, it made me so happy. He was just busting heads and throwing people around. I loved it.
Yeah, in what was it? It wasn't for First Class. It was in the second X-Men review.
One of those, yeah.
He was in it, and he was chasing Kitty Pryde, and she locks him in the ground, and he's like, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!" Just jumps out.
You're right. It was in The Last Stand. Vinnie Jones played the Juggernaut. I'm trying to find all the info here. But the bottom line is some photos were noticed by Omega Underground, confirmed in Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. There's hints that he could show up. God, I would love to see the Juggernaut.
Oh, can you see Juggernaut going up against Colossus?
Oh, my God. Oh.
That would be cool.
That makes me so happy. I feel like I've said that a lot, but I have a lot of happiness in geek culture, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, let's move on to Marvel.
Marvel TV.
Yeah, so...
Did you see this? You saw this.
I did. Well, I put this in there. ABC announced today that they have a couple of things in the works. They said they're not giving up on TV. I mean, of course, they've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doing well.
Inhumans.
They've got Inhumans coming out. They're going to be doing the New Warriors. They've got Cloak and Dagger. All that stuff is coming out. But it looks like they're going to try to do a noirish type show, very similar to like Jessica Jones in feel.
I'm glad.
And it's going to be a drama. And just in my mind, I can't think of anybody that could be a drama other than Jessica Jones. So,
I can't either, but...
I mean, I could see Howard the Duck, but that's comedy.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
No, but I mean, because he's a PI, so I can kind of see it. But the one thing they said is they're not shutting it down on comedy. Remember, they had a...
so maybe it is.
Well,
maybe it could be Howard the Duck.
Well, no, these are two different projects. Because they did a pilot for Damage Control 2 years ago.
Right.
And that was a comedy.
I remember that.
And they didn't pick it up. And then they can't really go back to that being a comedy because Damage Control was used in Spider-Man.
Right.
Which you haven't used because that's the crew that Vulture's head of, and they made it bad. So they can't go comedy with that. Although parts of the Damage Control in Spider-Man was really funny. So they can't really go that way. So I really don't know, especially with how Powerless failed. I don't know.
They're not going to... Yeah, I hear you.
But you could always do a Howard the Duck show.
Be awesome.
If they did do see, this is the thing though. If they were to do Howard the Duck, it can't be on ABC because that has to be at least PG-13.
Yeah.
So it's either gonna have to be a 9:00 show and have some swear words and
which is easy to get around these days, I think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It's just you can't go the way Spielberg went.
Right. All right. So Avengers 4. Set photos confirm Gwyneth Paltrow's back.
Pepper Potts comes back,
which I'm excited about. Honestly, she's a crazy person in real life.
Oh, absolutely. But I loved her as Pepper Potts.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like in
But Iron Man 3.
No, she was in Iron Man 3, but it was
Avengers.
Not Avengers 2.
Captain America.
Oh, Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
Where you see that they're at least on the outs, maybe broken up.
And they're like circumventing like the whole
And it could just be maybe they just didn't get her for the movie or whatnot. They didn't want to pay her.
So she will be back in Avengers 4, which is cool.
Cool.
Guardians Volume 3 will set up decades of new MCU characters. I just have this link in the show notes to this. I didn't dive into it much, but it from the rumors of Volume 3, it's going to be a new set of Guardians.
Yeah, which the Guardians are very... I mean, they call them the Space Avengers. That's
right.
what they are. They have an interchangeable team.
Which is cool, but at the same time, I love the team we have now.
But the cool thing is just because there's new Guardians coming in, doesn't mean a Guardian can't go to the Avengers.
That's true. Good point. And in Defenders news, have you been watching Defenders?
I am still in the middle of Luke Cage.
Okay.
So I saw Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist, and then I watched Defenders.
Okay, so I'm going to skip one of these stories then. And I'm going to leave this one in that basically says... The showrunner is teasing future crossovers. So what I'd like to see happen is, so far I'm loving Defenders. The second episode, you're like, okay, so how's this going to work?
I heard Sigourney Weaver's great.
Oh, she's so good, dude. The show is great. We're like on we watched episode 3 and 4 last night, or 3 and part of 4. But there's only 8 episodes.
Okay, instead of the normal 10 to 13.
Instead of the normal 13.
Right.
And... I would love to see in the next iterations of Daredevil 3, Jessica Jones 2, Iron Fist 2, and
Luke Cage 2.
Luke Cage 2. I would love to see more crossovers, very much Berlanti style, where they come in and out of each other's universes.
The difference with that is the reason why Berlanti can do it is because he's on network TV,
right?
And they deal with Sweeps Week, whereas Netflix does not.
They don't, but at the same time,
But I'm just saying you don't have those Netflix or
Right.
those Sweeps Weeks that you could do it on.
It's a lot.
But they should have more.
What I like about the Defenders, and I'm just going to say this now because you haven't watched it yet, and we'll talk about it in a few weeks. It's dark. There's humor, but the overall thing is dark. The fight, there is I want to say there's a Daredevil season 1 hallway fight scene equivalent,
Which we've seen in the trailers.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. It's so good, dude. I really am enjoying it. I know there's some mixed feelings out there about Defenders, as far as just in general.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. If you've watched all 4 shows, like the wife hasn't seen. I don't think she finished Daredevil 2 season 2, and she never got into Jessica Jones. So. If you've seen all 4, you see a lot of overlap, and it's really cool. When certain characters show up, there's a lot more stakes involved.
Like, are we seeing Patsy the Hellcat?
Oh yeah, you see her in the beginning. Of
course, we see Misty Knight.
You see Misty Knight. You have
Colleen.
You have the Night Nurse. You have Colleen. You have.
Do we see Colleen and Colleen and Misty interact? Because, like I said last week. They in the comics they end up being the daughters of the dragon.
I can't remember if they actually spoke to each other, but they're very, very close.
Cool. One thing,
it's really cool.
Really, and this is the behind the scenes stuff. Jessica Jones 2 is already in production.
Yeah.
And there's some news last week that actually we didn't put in, but we already knew that Daredevil season 3 is going to start filming in October.
Yeah.
It's going to wrap in, I think they said April or May.
Okay.
So it's going to be a 6-month turnaround.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I feel like I have forgotten some stuff that happened in some of the shows, and so like sometimes I'm like, wait, what? Who is that? But I think what would have helped, honestly, going forward with stuff like maybe in Defenders 2, if they're going to do it again, which they're kind of saying they may not do a Defenders 2, but if they have feature crossovers, that's kind of the Defenders 2 part of it. But what would be helpful, I think, very Game of Thrones this is, tell us what happened. Like, give me a nutshell
Previously
version
on
of
Game of Thrones.
But I mean, even previous to every episode would be nice to be like, here's what happened in Daredevil season 1 that's going to happen in this episode, because it doesn't. They're doing themselves a disservice, because there's some certain moments where it's like, it would be really cool if my wife knew who that person was, and I'm trying to explain it to him, but I can't remember it all the way. It would be something else. So
Exactly.
anyway, so that's all I got, man. I'm excited about Defenders. It's a lot of fun. We're halfway through.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. Like I said, I've watched about about a quarter of Luke Cage, and I really like the vibe.
Yeah, I love Luke Cage.
Alfred
The
Woodard
music,
is
it's
fantastic
so
in
good.
it. Mahershala Ali is fantastic.
Yeah, the guy who plays Cottonmouth, that's who that. Yeah, that guy's so good.
He's great. I mean, and he just won an Oscar because he won the Oscar for Moonlight.
Yeah, he's brilliant. So bottom line is, we'll talk about Defenders here in a few weeks when you're all caught up.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm loving TV right now. Just catching up on stuff. Game of Thrones last episode happens in a few days.
Okay, I still haven't watched last week yet. I kind of know what happens.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna wait until Sunday and just watch them both as a back to back.
Well, we're gonna do a wrap up show. Maybe I think we got to get some guests on for that.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get some guests on in a few weeks and do a wrap up for Game of Thrones. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, and I've got to wrap up a whole bunch of these shows because we've got the fall season starting in September and October. So we've got the Berlantiverse starting in the middle of October.
Right. No, he's not, nerd. Thank you for noticing.
You know what I am up to date on is Supergirl.
Oh, the one show that I'm not watching. Anyway, thank you, everybody who's in the chat room right now. We're about to get out of here. So thanks for talking smack to Will right at the end. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. But I want to make sure everybody has a... Oh, no.
Can I do my outro?
Dude, I totally jumped the gun.
Yeah, you're blowing it. So thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at DothPops on Twitter. Will is at Amaro Griggs. When you see us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play, give us positive ratings and share us and like us and tell your friends. We have patreon.com. If you'd like to support the show, patreon.com/usualpodcast. Give us $1 or $2 an episode. It helps us get to conventions and do the things and pay the bills and stuff like that. But also you get some perks. We have Trailer Time, which we normally do probably every other week, which is a Patreon exclusive. We also have blooper reels, which, oh my God, we have a few this week. And yeah, and you get access to the shows a day or two ahead of time.
And if you really want to support us and get some cool merch out of it, don't forget to go to teespring.com/wog and pick up the latest t-shirt, because you can also get a sticker for a couple of bucks.
Exactly. And audibletrial.com/usualpodcast, another way to support the show. Hella audiobooks on there. Yes, I said hella. And you can get any of the audiobooks on audibletrial.com/usualpodcast for free. Captain Phasma's coming out. So I'm reading. I'm almost done with this insanely good series by Patrick Rothfuss called The Name of the Wind. I'm reading the one. It's called A Wise Man's Fear. It's so good. But anything on there is up for grabs. So support the show, like us, love us, and all that. And dude, we got to get out of here.
We do. Just make sure you go out there and have fun.
Have fun. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Yeah, someone said peace before you. Steve. Steve. He called you on your piece.
You called me on my piece, Steve.
I thought you were playing with Musco tomorrow. Nerd. Coming here talking smack. No, he's not up to date on anything, and I love that you called him out on it, so thank you.
F you.
Everybody's good.
Ski guys, I'm going home.
Oh, well. Oh, recorded today. Got it. Cool, man. That is badass. We have to go. You guys are... Oh, edited by Jesse? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Oh, Will's already left, so there's that. He flipped me off. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. WOG tomorrow night. Join us. I'll be streaming tomorrow night for old WOG. Are you done talking shit?
How about you blow me?
All right, guys. See you later.